And just as the government is alerting NEMA on the proposed opening of the Lagdo Dam, the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Utsev, wants state and local governments to heighten their preparedness against the potential impact of flooding during the peak of rainy season. This forms the crux of a joint press briefing on the response to potential flooding and how to minimize its impact across the country. TVC News' Kemi Balogun has details.
The months of July to October are considered the periods of heavy rainfall, flooding, and flood-related disasters. This year, it is no different, especially with the discovery by the Hydrological Services Agency of an increase in the volume of flow level to 8.9 meters compared to a flow level of 8.80 meters at the same period in 2022 along the River Benue system. The Ministers of Water Resources and Sanitation are both here to give an update on this recent situation, as they both highlight the need for states and local governments to take necessary precautions through the deployment of appropriate measures.
It is imperative of all levels of government, be at federal, state, and local, to heighten the level of preparedness and deploy appropriate measures to minimize the potential impact of flooding during the peak of the rainy season. States and local governments should intensify efforts in clearing blocked drainages and also construct new ones where they do not exist.
They, however, revealed that there is no threat to lives and properties, especially for the state's neighboring rivers Niger and Benue.
Flow level on the River Niger system remains stable, with the level of the River Niger at NEMA, Niger Republic, standing at a normal level of 4.3 meters. Reports from inland dams, including Kanji, Jeba, Shirolu, also indicate a consistent flow region. Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency has, however, maintained a professional and organizational relationship with Cameroon's national hydrological systems.
Despite the heightened flow volume along the River Benue system, the flow situation at the confluence of the Niger and Benue rivers in Lokoja, Kogi State have been discovered to remain stable, with a decrease in flow level of 7.80 meters compared to 8.24 meters in 2022. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
For more on the environmental impact of this flooding, let's speak with the team lead Urban Alert, Anthony Adejo, who joins us live via Zoom from Osun State. Thank you for joining us on TVC News at 10. In 2022, about 1.4 million people were displaced by flood, and about 600 people actually died as a result of that disaster. What would you say we have learned as a nation?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Practically, I would say, as a country, we've learned nothing. We have the tradition of responding to issues when it has happened. We never plan, or we don't have the political will to prevent such things from happening. And that is why, for me, and even for my organization, we are beginning to think that issue of flood in Nigeria would become an annual disaster. And we may actually have a government that may not really plan on preventing it, rather than, putting funds aside for humanitarian reasons when it has happened.
Well, in this case now, Mr. Adejo, Mr. Adejo, if I may come in this case now, we know that already the Federal Minister of Foreign Affairs has alerted NEMA, and NEMA, of course, is reaching out to citizens. As a matter of fact, there was a joint press conference on how to actually minimize the impact of the potential flooding. So what really do you think should be a response at this time, aside these press briefings? All right, Anthony. If you can hear me, Mr. Adejo, I am asking about what our response should be at this time. We know that already there have been meetings, press conferences, alerting the people. But beyond that, what should our response be?
Yeah, for now, I think state governments needs to mobilize. First, I believe that state government should have lots of research done to identify floodable plains, to identify communities that are prone to, flood, and look at the possibility of, swiftly relocating them from those communities. That is one. Two, state government should also, as a matter of urgency, begin dredging of rivers and ensure that drainage patterns, the drain system are well cleared of silt so that water could move, easily. Aside these, we should also have the rescue team on state level so that we will not continue to wait for NEMA before we begin to rescue, citizens that could face the issue of flooding.
And what is the role of citizens in all of this?
Yes, citizens should be aware that there could be, flood in their community, and the first thing they should do is to mobilize as community development associations, clear the drainages, ensure that the drainages are free, and water can flow. You can't even say because you're on the highland, you're going to leave people on the lowland to face it. Don't forget that if anything happens to your community, to your neighbors, it's going to affect you. You may actually have to house them for a while. So rather than just leaving them to do this alone, you need to come together. Even if you are not living in floodable plain, you need to ensure that you clear the drainages and also relocate those that may be affected.
We know that this alert coming from Cameroon about the opening of the Lagdo Dam is already, causing a lot of ripples. We must sincerely appreciate you, Anthony Adejowo, for talking to us on TVC News at 10.
Thank you for having me.